So I got into another discussion today about capacity and reloads. Um, and I want to bring up something that I've noticed from watching a lot of those real world scenarios. There's two things that I see people doing that are really a big problem. And that is, number one, spray and pray, where they just shoot randomly in the general direction of the bad guy until they run out of bullets. And number two is continuing to shoot at somebody who's running away. These are things that you'll see cops do a lot, and it's bad enough when they do it. But it's part of their job is to start a fight, and a lot of times that means you're engaging at longer distances. It means that you're, the police officer's job is to apprehend the bad guy. Your job as a civilian defender is to end the threat. So, the police officer is more interested in, he has to stop him. You just have to stop him from hurting somebody else or yourself. So that feeds into the conversation about capacity and reloads, in that people get this idea that you're just going to get in a shootout and be, blasting through ammunition. And my thought on that is that's extremely rare. You're talking about a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent. Less than 0.1% of defensive gun uses involve firing the gun. Less than a quarter of those involve actually shooting the bad guy. And, of those, how many rounds are fired? It's typically 2 to 3. And when it does go more, the overwhelming majority of the time, it is one of these two situations. If somebody kept firing a lot longer than they should have. And having that high capacity gun gives you that temptation to keep firing. With a 5-shot gun, first of all, I know psychologically that I've only got 5 shots to make this work before I need to go find some serious cover and take 10 to 30 seconds to reload. If I've got that big high capacity gun, I don't have to do that, and I may be more tempted to just keep blasting away, when that's really taking an unnecessary risk, because every single one of those bullets has your name on it, and you're responsible for every single one of those bullets. And unless you're in, a situation where you have absolutely no reason to worry about what's on the other side of the bad guy, you need to maintain that focus and be absolutely aware of where your bullets are going. And having a low capacity gun forces you to think that way. Having that high capacity gun, it's a lot easier to not think about each shot, because you've got 10 more rounds. And when you do that, that increases the risk to bystanders. And that's one of the big things that people have a problem with concealed carry, is they don't want risk to bystanders. So the more responsible we can be in not putting risk on bystanders, the better the overall political situation becomes. So that's why that's important. The other thing is shooting at a fleeing suspect. Again, bad enough when a cop does it, but it's their job to catch him. It is not your job to catch him. It is your job to make sure he doesn't hurt you or somebody near you. So if he's running away, unless he turns around and points a gun at you, you better not keep firing. And having, again, if I know I've got 10 more rounds, it's a lot easier in the moment to just keep going. And if I do just go completely out of my mind and just keep shooting as he's running away with my 5-shot gun, I'm going to run out of ammo pretty quick. And I'm not going to create as big of a risk to other people. So that's one of the reasons why I really want to stick to the smaller gun. And the reason to think about that is in the scope of real world scenarios, your revolver is good over here, and your automatic capability is going to overlap quite a bit. But then you're going to get outside of what's even reasonable to expect an automatic to perform. And not taking into account the fact that a revolver has advantages if you're in a hand-to-hand situation. But that amount of space where a revolver is not adequate for the situation, but an automatic is not very big. Because a lot of those situations, people say, "Oh, what if there's 3 bad guys? What if it's a really determined bad guy?" Et cetera, et cetera. In those situations, realistically, you need more than a pistol, and unless you're carrying an AR with you all the time, that list of scenarios in which you need something more than a revolver, but not more than a Glock 19, is very, very small. So giving up those other inherent advantages of the revolver to catch that little tiny bit of advantage isn't really worth it, in my opinion. Especially when you consider, like I said, the temptation to spray and pray. I don't want to have that. And I know, I'm trying to be a responsible, good citizen, and I don't want to be tempted to make a bad name for concealed carry because I got carried away and put 16 rounds into God knows where while the bad guy was running away. So with that, thank you for watching. Have a good day, and always remember to be ready to be somebody else's miracle.